It is finally here. The sequel to what is potentially my favorite movie of all time. And it is so, so good. For this first segment, I'm going to just list all the characters, say things I did and didn't like about them. Starting with the main character, of course, Lego Spider-Man. He is easily the best character. His arc was the most entertaining. I loved just everything about him. His voice actor did a great job. It was just chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Another character that was really good in this movie was Miles Morales. I think his new costume was pretty good. Some people don't like it, but I thought it was pretty good. I don't think I like it as much as the original, but it's still pretty good. He has a really good arc in this movie. It's not a fully complete arc because it's the first part of a two-part movie, but the way I like to think of it is it's the trolley problem. See, in this movie, he has to decide the fate of either his whole universe or his father, and as a normal person, when you're solving the trolley problem, you only really get to choose one or the other. But as a superhero, you could jump in front of the trolley and stop it. So Miles, with all of his added power and responsibility, is going to try and solve the trolley problem. As that's at least what his arc has led up to. That's what the build-up is for the second movie, and I think it's a really interesting setup. There's also Gwen. Gwen is awesome in this movie. Haley Steinfeld is awesome in general. I think it's really, as someone who is around the same age as Miles, I think the way they have him and Gwen set up and, being crushes, the way that is so authentic and so accurate. It's just crazy. Also, early in the movie, we see Gwen with a trans flag in her room, and it says something about freeing trans kids, and I think that's pretty dope. I don't know if that means she's trans or she's not, or she's just a super supporter. Either way, it's pretty dope. Don't take anything I say here as fact. There's probably an interview somewhere where the Lord and Miller are yes, she is trans, or no, she isn't trans. So, yeah, just fact check that for me. Peter B. Parker is awesome in this movie. I love Mayday. I love him. I think ultimately he didn't do as much in this movie as he did in the last movie. And that's because I don't think he has much more to do. He has a kid. That's what he was built up to do in the last movie. But I still think he's a good presence just to have here overall anyways. Spider-Punk is so, so good. I liked his character. I like that he's just newspaper clippings and his colors palette's changing all the time. Super cool. He's also got some of the best jokes in the movie. I like when the baby is, the Mayday is just crawling around being a bastard, and Spider-Punk's oh yeah, fight the system, baby, and it was really funny. Indian Spider-Man, super dope. I love, love, love this guy. I think he might be my favorite character in the movie, actually. I love this yo-yo thing that he has. It is so dope. It is so cool. I really appreciate that they gave him a redesign from the original one. The original one was really just Peter Parker, but Indian. So I like that they gave him some defining features to help him stand out from the original comic book version. Spider-Woman is pretty awesome in this movie. Other than her design being awesome and her actress, I love her actress. Other than that, I don't think she's got a whole lot going on in this movie. I think she's sort of just, one of the villain's henchmen. Probably the most notable villain henchman in my mind. But other than that, she doesn't have a whole lot going on. She's mentioned to be Gwen's, mentor a couple of times, but we don't really get to see that a whole lot. I imagine there was probably a deleted scene of the two of them, being mentor and mentee. Is that what it's called? Do they call it mentee? I imagine there's a deleted scene of that, but it wasn't in the final cut, which I think probably an oversight, but whatever. Scarlet Spider, I laughed extra hard whenever his jokes played out. Not because I thought they were funny, which they were funny, but I had to laugh extra hard so that the people in the theater knew that there's someone out there who really likes this guy, right? And maybe they'll go search for this guy, and they'll Google search, Scarlet Spider. And you know what? On the 2% chance that they find my channel, I did my job right, okay? I did my job right. Spider-Bite is pretty awesome in this movie. I couldn't find a picture of her related to this movie, and I simply wasn't going to the second page of Google. That was just not happening. I'm so sorry. But she gets a redesign in the movie. She's really cool. She doesn't have a lot going on either. I imagine she will have more going on in the second film, but the idea behind her, the way that her spider powers work different from everybody else's, I think is super dope. Now, this, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, is this movie's villain. I don't want to hear anybody at home going, no, the Spot's the villain. The Spot was simply set up to be the villain in the sequel. Miguel O'Hara is objectively the villain in this movie. See, he might not be for the second one. The Spot is probably going to be the villain for the second one. But for right now, what he is the villain. He is Miles' main roadblock. He is the thing preventing Miles from achieving his goal. And that goal is to save his father. You know, the Spot might be the one trying to kill Miles' father, but right here, Spider-Man 2099 is the one stopping that from happening. He is quite literally the antagonist, and a very good one, because although it sounds heinous, out of context, he's gonna stop someone from saving their father, he has a good reason for it, right? It's going back to the trolley problem from earlier, Miles is trying to solve the trolley problem. Meanwhile, Miguel O'Hara is just going to flip the lever and hope for the best. So I think that's really interesting, the dynamic they have going on. Metro Boomin does most of the soundtrack for this movie. I thought I'd bring that up because the soundtrack from the first movie was absolutely one of the most fantastic parts. Like, everything about the first movie is great. It's my favorite movie still, I think. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But Metro Boomin does a great job on the soundtrack. Admittedly, I don't think it's as good as the last one. Not dissing Metro Boomin, but what I think it is that the last one had more different creators working on it. It had more people, so that the soundtrack sounded more diverse, but still similar. Either way, the soundtrack is great. Love pretty much all the songs on it. It was really awesome. Overall, I think the first movie was still better, in that it is a complete story. I like this movie. I think the animation is much better, mostly just because of all the different types of styles they blend together. But I think the first movie is better because it's a complete film. And I think, hopefully, the intention, or in my mind, is that when you combine Across the Spider-Verse with its sequel, Beyond the Spider-Verse, the two together will make a better project than the original. But so far, we only have one half of a complete story in my mind. So I'll still say the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, is the best, and by extension, my favorite movie. But I think Beyond the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse combined have the potential to be one of the most fantastic things we've seen in Spider-Man media, superhero media, animation, in general, at all. I just think it's awesome. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you haven't seen this movie, do that. Also, if you haven't seen this movie, why'd you watch the video? Because I spoiled a bunch of shit. Go watch the movie. Bye.